Now, I have a reaction. I have a reaction to something that I saw over the weekend, and I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. There's going to be people endorsing the Harris campaign because they have been documented and they're being protected from the Diddy tapes. If you have been hanging out with P. Diddy, if you've been on the Diddy tapes, you've been doing all of these strange things, you are forced to go out and campaign for Harris. Now, over the weekend, Harris was campaigning in the state of Michigan. Somehow, some way, she brought out the original Dun Dada. The original, the man that contracted the AIDS virus when AIDS was a horrible disease. The man that willingly told us back in the 80s he frequented the original freak-off parties that were at Hugh Hefner's house, the Playboy Mansion, and it's not looking good. But for his sake, it's a something that he got to do. It's a beautiful thing for his sake, because this is how he's going to be protected. Now, FBI raided the homes of P. Diddy simultaneously. Okay, they pretty much took the evidence, used the Department of Homeland Security to secure evidence to protect very powerful people. Magic Johnson is one of the individuals that we would say he was born early in the game, but he is what they call today NIL, name, image, and likeness. And he's one of the individuals that they use his image and likeness to basically promote products, to promote brands, to assist as a basketball player, point guard, to assist in turning businesses around. He did it for the Lakers. He did it for the Dodgers in LA. Somehow he became a builder in 24-hour fitness and Magic Johnson, Friday, and all of these things because they were using his name, image, and likeness. But with the Harris campaign, he had no choice because he did not endorse Harris. They would leak some video, they would leak some images of him hanging out with his best friend, believe it or not, Sean Combs. And but the images are coming out. So he went on the campaign trail with Harris in the state of Michigan, where he grew up, and pretty much told the crowd, Magic Johnson, a basketball player, not educated, somebody of elitist status when it comes to an individual, just a celebrity. And he stated, in my opinion, he lied, okay, because he said we supported Harris when she was running for DA and, when she was started her career. But we announced to Magic Johnson, we're here in Southern California. And to my understanding, you're from Bel Air, you live in the neighborhood of Hugh Hefner, and, you can get a chance to vote or support Harris because she was in Oakland and San Francisco. But I do understand it with the connection, because you probably met her back in the day when you was hanging out with, in the original with, Willie Brown and all the other elitists and the Hollywood people. So I get it and I understand it. So let's be honest and frank. But when you take an individual like Magic Johnson and put him on the stage and have him try to resonate to black men, your black card is revoked, bro, because you're not like us. And you know that. And you had to get on that campaign trail and promote Harris. You had to do it because of the Diddy tapes. It all boils down to the Diddy tapes. And if you didn't know, I got to give you some backstories, because I'm sure that this can be confirmed that the Harris campaign wanted to use the vote or die campaign, because that was a strategy that helped Hillary Clinton almost defeat Trump. That was a strategy that, catapulted Barack Obama over the top. That was a strategy that Joe Biden used. And all the videos are all over the internet. You could just Google vote and all of these things. But this time around, PD, Sean Puffy Combs, is on record pretty much saying that he's going to support the Black Party. Okay, he's going to support a better Black America. He's going to support content creators, and because we need our own thing, we need our own situation. And that was the red flag for them, because Why did they wait to release the Cassie tapes now? Why did they wait to arrest him now when these things have been going on and these allegations have going on ever since like 2008? And now they're just throwing a book at him. And then now when they look at the tapes and they see Magic Johnson on, and then they pull up on Magic, and Magic had to go on record. And it's like he didn't want to do it, but like I said, he committed, I wouldn't say career suicide because his name, image, and likeness is powerful, but in the sense of the Black community and resonating to Black men, his Black card has been revoked. Just like they say Kamala Harris is not Black, Magic is not Black either. He's wealthy. Okay, because when you're wealthy, he's more than just rich, he's wealthy. But he had to get out there and campaign for Harris because, like I said, he's out there doing some strange things, and we know this. So if you want to, it's public record, just do a little deep dive, because come to find that Magic Johnson is one of Puffy's best friends. Magic Johnson is one of Puffy's friends. I got images and pictures that I'm going to be uploading on a video today that I'm about to edit after I get off this live. And it's not good. It's not good. So it's crazy, So good morning to you already in the comments. Like I said, let me see here. Have a blessed day. You also have a blessed day. And Decky Play, good morning, TK. But these things are astounding because when I found out, not when I found out, but when I saw that Gavin Newsom in the state of California gave a public apology for slavery. And when I found out that, not found out, but actually saw that the work that we've put in over some time in terms of seeking a constitutional amendment, California is going to spearhead it with Assembly Member Lori Wilson, and it's documented as Slavery in California, Proposition 6. It came to my mind, this is why Black men are not endorsing or not supporting the Democratic Party this time around. Because this is the first time in American history that Black men are standing down, because we know when we look at the data and we look at the history that does not support us. And I'm talking about Black heterosexual men. You see how they could make the big feeble-minded 6'8" giant, Magic Johnson, and then have Shaquille O'Neal, 7 feet, feeble-minded men to promote the brand, because Magic Johnson, he's on the tapes. And if you look at over COVID, you got Shaq on a FaceTime with Diddy, jiggling his booty, and Diddy like, yeah, daddy. So we know what's going on. And Shaq is on rec to say, play the game. Okay. So that's the game that they got to play. But we don't have to play the game, because there's going to be a slavery vote. And there already is a slavery vote for this presidential election. And Black men are standing down and will not be supporting the party because they put the bed wench and concubine on the ticket. The reason that I could say bed wench and concubine, because if we're still documented as slaves, that was a trick that Massa would do. He would put his biracial daughter in a house. He would put our grandmother in a house and make it seem like Master got some love for us. But they are using these individuals for sexual, for their sexual desires, using these women to control the slaves. But at the end of the day, they work for the plantation and work for Massa. So if we're documented as slaves, until we get this constitutional amendment, we're going to stand down. And then when you put the big buck slaves, the ones that's been emasculated, the ones that's done any and everything to be successful, and then you put them out in front of the American people and try to get them to appeal to Black men, you're pretty much, making them look bad. You're making them, it's a situation where it's astounding how 24, we can't realize or we can't see what's really going on. And these are slaves, okay? High price, whatever you want to call it. But Magic Johnson is not a politician. Magic Johnson should not even have anything to say about who to vote for, because at the end of the day, he's not considered Black wealthy. Okay, he's a part of the 1% when it comes to financial, but he is their cash cow, just like Shaquille O'Neal is their cash cow. So I would be surprised if Shaquille O'Neal does not get out there and promote Harris, because he's on the tapes too. Okay, because these things go back all the way to the 2000s, to from 2006 to present. And at the time, in the height of their careers, Puffy was, doing these parties, and all of these things were going on, and people didn't realize, people really didn't realize that it would catch up to them, because a lot of times you do things to help your career. We heard rumors about the casting couch. We've heard rumors about Hollywood and how sick Hollywood is. And now we see exactly what's going on, because the truth is coming out. And just like Cat Williams says, in 24, people are going to get exposed. So when you look at the industry and you see a lot of our individuals who are megastars, are black megastars, who are not saying anything, they're silenced. There's a lot of homosexual allegations that's going out. Where's Dwayne Wade? I haven't seen Dwayne Wade in a minute. Okay. And they put guys like Dwayne Wade with Hollywood women who are with the business, who would be willing to, probably use the strap on and all of that. But where's Dwayne Wade? Okay. Where's the Will Smiths? Okay. Jamie Foxx is pretty much saying that he talked about the tapes, and there's allegations allegedly about what happened to him that was connected to Puffy, that they tried to take him out because he has tapes. Okay. Where's all the black superstars and megastars right now? Think about it. Think about it. It's either get down or lay down. And if you want to be honest, Hollywood is pretty much being exposed. It's being exposed right now. And I'm glad that, we are here and we're living in a time where we can actually deliver ourselves from these entities. And this is why it's bigger than voting. It's bigger than political parties. It's bigger than flesh. It's bigger than Donald Trump. It's bigger than Kamala Harris. This thing is God versus the devil. So literally got to make a choice on what we're going to do as human beings. And when I say here today, as a black man, documented as a slave, still in America, that I'm standing down this election. I'm voting for the party of slavery, or the Republican Party, which is their blood brother, their cousins, because they've been working together, for the last 160 years. And both sides know that there's a slavery clause in the Constitution. And this is why Prop 6 is not being promoted, because I was at an event last night and I was pretty much talking to the attendees at the event about Prop 6, and nobody, not one person that I spoke to about Prop 6 knew what Prop 6 was. I would sit back and ask them, what's going on with Prop 6? Please, yes on Prop 6. That's all I got for you. We didn't even talk about the president or anything like that. I just told them yes on Prop 6, and they said, so Prop 6. So individuals were coming out with their ballots, and I pretty much showed them and told them that Prop 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. And then their eyes will light up. And basically somebody said, wow, if they want to end slavery, then that means it still exists. And I said, so this is why the slaves documented cannot resuscitate the Democratic Party, cannot support the Harris campaign, cannot support the Democratic Party as a whole, because it's the catalyst for racism, because the racism that they're putting into play is to pretty much keep a poor, busted, and disgusted, group of people in a condition, from a mindset, from a social and economic position, so that they can actually make it seem like they're the savior. This is why there's an open southern border, and they're bringing in the migrants, because blacks are waking up and blacks are really understanding that we're not going to take this anymore. And if we're documented as slaves, then how can you lobby to us, or how can you try to get us to vote for you when we are documented? So until we are freed, until we change this Constitution, until we take the slavery clause off the state legislature and the 13th Amendment, because Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights, dignity for everyone, and it aligns with the national efforts to reform the 13th Amendment. And that's our nation's Constitution. So this is why we're calling it like it is. And this is why they're putting their bed-wenching concubine, which is Kamala Harris, on the ticket to pretty much prostitute her out there, to pretty much get the slaves and get blacks and get all the minorities to the Democratic Party, but it is a epic fail, just like it was an epic for Magic Johnson to endorse her over the weekend. So now all of the gay allegations, the situation with his son being a part of the LB community, flaming blazing, being the first original power bottom. I know TD Jakes is smiling a little bit because now Magic Johnson is the, Don Dada when it comes to power bottom, and Magic Johnson individual who contracted the AIDS virus when AIDS was a sexual disease. Let that sink in your head right now. Let that sink in your head right now. Magic Johnson contracted when AIDS was a homosexual disease. Okay. And then he's best friends with Puffy. Images are surfacing, videos are surfacing. And when they looked at the tapes, he was the main individual in those parties doing what they do, allegedly. And the Harris campaign contacted him and said, we can actually protect you if you get on the campaign trail and help her campaign. So I'm believing that there's going to be other individuals that's going to help the Harris campaign, but they're going to think twice, because anybody that's associated with the Harris campaign takes a hit. Because remember, Taylor Swift went out there and endorsed Harris. OK, and then she lost $25 million in brand deals that was supposed to be running all through the football season while she's in the stands cheering for her boo, Travis Kelce. But when they showed her on the Jumbotron in Kansas City, she got booed. And last night was the first game that she went to since the endorsement. OK, now Magic Johnson steps out and want to resonate to black men. And all of a sudden, he not black no more. He lost his black card. He's gay. He's a homosexual now. And you pretty much are all on the tapes and never know it. And you are being classified as Puffy's best friend. So what I'm saying is these Diddy tapes, this thing, is bigger than what we can ever imagine. And then the Harris campaign is pretty much. And when I say the Harris campaign is over, she did a 60-minute view on CBS, and she was gone in 60 seconds. So over the weekend, Magic Johnson endorsed her. Okay, he did. He took a hit because now he's the OG homosexual who contracted AIDS during the height of the AIDS epidemic, when it was a gay contracted disease, and it was. And then Kamala Harris goes on 60 minutes. And couldn't even answer a question or own up to what's going on in the southern border as the borders are. This man, the moderator or the interviewer on CBS, 60 Minutes, asked her, was it a mistake for allowing the southern border to be unsecured? She started dancing around, and he said back and he doubled down. He said, was it a mistake? Okay. For our southern border to be in the condition the way it is? She kept on talking, and he sat there and he listened, and I'm thinking he's going to move on, but this is CBS. This is not a podcast. Okay. So they are protecting their integrity. So the interviewer said, look, the southern border, the influx of migrants. And she said, but it's lower now. But he said, look, the southern border, the migrants that's entered the southern border in America has quadrupled since the Biden-Harris administration, and you're the borders are. And she sat back and she was so dumbfounded. And he sat there and just looked at her and I'm like, wow, it's over. Because he pretty much wanted her to own up to it. So she would have been better off saying, yes, we made a mistake. Hindsight is 2020. If the American people vote for me, I can change it, which would have been a lie. So she lied, but she did not want to own up to the condition of the southern border. If you are an American citizen, and in this order, the individuals that will be voting, independents, nonpartisans, Democrats, black men alike, and immigration, inflation, in that order. The economy, immigration, and inflation, in that order. And let the states have abortion. And like I said, I have nothing to do with it, but I'm sure all the American people do support abortion in the situation of the life of the mother, rape or incest, and there should be some type of guardrails, meaning, abort after, the third trimester, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh month, eighth month, and all of that. So if you're having a healthy baby, there's individuals that will adopt. But in the sense of the Democrats and Tim Walz and Harris are on record saying, that they support guardrails. Okay, because they were asked on both of the debate stages. Trump asked Harris, what is it, the fifth month, sixth month, seventh month, eighth month, when he debated Harris, and her response was, come on. And J.D. Vance did the same thing to Tim Walz, and he pretty much stonewalled, and he said, listen, we just need to stay out of it. Okay, so if you need to stay out of it, you guys need to stay out of a lot of things, and you need these celebrities to be celebrities because they're taking they're taking hits supporting the campaign. Because one thing that I understand, that Magic Johnson, he shouldn't have did that. Okay, but I know why he did it. So who's going to be on the campaign trail promoting Harris? And if they are, I guarantee you, they're associated with the Diddy tapes. I guarantee you. Magic Johnson went out there and he's associated. They're saying that Magic Johnson did his best friend. They got images out there, and P. Diddy got his tongue out. Magic got his booty on Diddy's. He's 6'8". So on Diddy's chest, and Diddy got his tongue out. And if you want to see that video, I'll be uploading it today. I'm going to do an edited little clip just to pretty much show the images that I received in my inboxes from individuals. So Magic Johnson is canceled in the black community. He lost his black card. So just like Kamala Harris is not black, okay, then Magic's not black either because he's wealthy. Okay, now you guys have been lighting these comments up for a minute. So let me go on up in there. Let me see. Counseling goes both ways, but it's stupid to do that because the celeb political endorsement. But see, they're basically like when you're compromised, when you're forced to do something, and that's JV, when you're compromised, okay, when they have something on you, you got to do something that you really don't want to do. And I believe in the case of Magic Johnson endorsing Harris, he had to do it because I'm sure with those Diddy tapes and the Diddy files and being all over those videos, either endorse Harris or get embarrassed. Okay, now, James, I live in California where everything costs 100 times more than what it ever could afford. Let me see here. Than what you can ever afford. And we're fine here. Don't complain about nothing. Let me see here. I live in California as well. And complaining, that's an understatement. Because like I said, we do a food drive in South LA, and they be complaining. You got people pulling up in Mercedes Benz is fine, vehicles, families coming to pretty much get food. And all they're doing is complaining about inflation, the cost of gas, the cost of energy, the cost of food. And this is not MAGA country. These are all Democrats. And, and I'm saying, how can we change the trajectory of what's going on if we continue to vote democratically? And I'm not saying let's flip to Republican, but I'm saying let's protest and let's pretty much sit out and, do what we need to do. And let me see here, Peter, who will win the 2024 election? Well, my team, my group, my community, we will be supporting a third party candidate. We will be writing in Jesus Christ as our president. Okay, but we will be going in and voting hyper local because in the state of California, there's Proposition 6 on the ballot, which is Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. So we will be voting for our freedoms here in California, and then we will go on the ballot and write in our God, Jesus Christ. Because if you didn't know, you got to understand that there is actually 7 different candidates on the ballot. Okay, there's the Freedom Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, along with the Republican and Democratic Party, and Dr. Cornel West and the Melina Abdullah did not the California ballot. So we're going to be doing a strong write-in campaign. James, I'm Cherokee Indian. You thought you would think that they thought they held me now, but they didn't. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. And they're pretty much giving y'all hush money. The reservations, the casinos, and because the natives took a hit. But the one thing that the Native Americans have done that the Black Americans got to do is pretty much seek sovereignty here in this country so we can actually end racism. Because as long as the black race is tied between two different parties and they're fighting for the votes, and according to the Democratic Party, they still own us as slaves. So as long as we continue to support the Democratic Party, we're going to continue to be in a desolate situation. Now, I know a lot of us persevere. We're employed. We've did well. We managed our money. We were able to maneuver through. But if you look at the situation and look at around us, it's dire, and things are getting worse and worse by the day. Things are getting worse and worse by the day. And let me see here. TKK Behavioral, good morning to you. Okay, have a blessed day. Okay, we got some, let me see here. Norway, Palestine, or Israel. Okay, so that's seen. Let me see. Let me see here. Norway, 1306. Palestine or Israel. So I got to go biblical with you that, because Palestine or Israel is equivalent to the scribes and the Pharisees. Okay, my presidential candidate, in which I'm endorsing. Okay, we're writing in, because if you want to play it safe and put the blood of the lamb over your door, so you will, not have to deal with the famine, I would say go ahead and write in. But I got to give you Bible on that, because the Israel is equivalent in the biblical days as the scribes and Pharisees. And here in America, it's pretty much Democrats and Republicans. But Jesus, our write-in candidate here in America, Jesus come to change the scribe of the Pharisees, because he loves all. So in a sense of the Israel or Palestine, I'm on the side of God. I want humanity to love one another. And I believe that we can actually work out some things as individuals. This is why on the global stage, we having these wars against each other. And one thing that we need to do here in America is, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. If we declare ourselves as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, then we can actually, tone down what's going on in the world. But as long as we have a criminalization clause and a slavery clause in the Constitution and the state legislature, then this is why we can have this, and this is why we're so divided as a people. Okay, because if you look at the Jewish people, okay, we have a Zionist movement here in America. And Zionism, Joe Biden said, and that's a part of white supremacy. And if you look at the side of Palestine, those are people of color. Okay, and if you look at, Judaism versus the Muslims, these things have been going on since the test of time. And you can actually fix them is come together as a country in this nation and work together and not allow our governments to burn the candle from both sides, because the Biden-Harris administration have freed up billions of dollars for to do what they do, and they're funding Hamas. The United States, the Biden administration, or the Biden-Harris administration, left Afghanistan. They left all the weaponry. They left everything, and ISIS had and showcased all the weapons that we did leave them. And then we turn around, give billions of dollars to Israel. So it's pretty much, a dirty game. And this is why the American people need to understand. This is why here on the Better Black America TV, we can only offer you God. We can only offer you Jesus, because when you make a decision in a effort to be righteous, then we become ambassadors to Christ. We become, the individuals that are righteousness, are promoting love and promoting peace, because it's clear our adversary, who's adversarial to God, his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. And in this case, Israel, using Israel as the catalyst, funded American dollars to pretty much create genocide to people of color. And being here in America, who is a promoter of Proposition 6, which ends slavery in the state of California, understands that, because my people are being genocided today, and that's being through Planned Parenthood, because of all the abortions. 75% are black babies, and they're talking about his health care, and that's a lie. And the way that you hurt God is you hurt babies. Okay, look at in the Bible, we're killing the firstborn. Look at in the Bible where we're killing the babies. So this is how the adversary, this is how the devil, who's God's opposition, can hurt him, can hurt God, because they're killing babies not in the womb and out the womb. And if you really understand how this thing works, we got to be liberated as a people. And this is why we got to stand down in America when it comes to the two-party system. And we got to support the third party option. And the third party coalition is actually coming together, and we're going to write it in Jesus Christ. And if you didn't know, go to your ballot and it's there. Okay, the write-in. Okay, and I will be doing videos about that leading up to the election, but we're getting so many October surprises that it's something goes down on a daily basis. Because look at Magic Johnson. Look how Magic Johnson pretty much lost his black card. He got out there like a slave and did what he was told because he does not want to get exposed. He's all over the Diddy tapes. And then he wanted to resonate with black men. And we all know that that's not going to work. And there's some people saying that black men, or men, more importantly, black men that support the Democratic Party, 9% are gay and 10% are what we will call beta males. Okay, so if you are a man, if you're an alpha male, if you who are saved by the grace of God, and you claim to be a Christ, there's no way we can support the party of slavery, because he did not come to change the scribe or the Pharisees. He came to fulfill. So in the case of Palestine and Israel, we have to fulfill, and we bring this thing together, because there's only one race, and that's the human race. But if you have America documenting a group of people as slaves, then this is where we're going to have these global problems. And this is when they will put the bed wenching concubine on the ballot and try to get the slaves to vote for her. And that's a no, because they're going to slave revolt. Okay. And then let me see here, TikTok collection, kind of like Keefe D. Okay. And if you didn't know, Keefe D, individual that's locked up, that's saying Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Tupac. And it's crazy how Biggie is not here, Craig Mack, Black Rob, and a lot of individuals that was a part of Bad Boy Records, because people strange things for the love of money. And if you did not know, the love of money is evil. Okay, pride is the number one thing when it comes to evil. But the love of, we need money and necessities to make it in life, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And pride is the number one deadly sin. Okay, so when you got money and pride, you are a very dangerous individual. You are a very dangerous individual. Shane Roach, A Better Black America Without Diddy, that part. Never been to a Diddy party, never entertain any of that. And I'm so grateful, because we did not know. I got an individual who was trying to get, friends and family members and, people from my neighborhood with record deals and all of this. But we didn't realize why we were blackballed out of the industry, because we were actually heterosexual men, and anything like that, we wasn't down with the hanky panky. So now we know why we wasn't in the industry. We wasn't hanging out with Magic and them, back in the day. And everybody's being exposed. So I'm gonna start calling Cat Williams an actual prophet, man, because he said in 2024, people are going to get exposed, and individuals that you love dearly are being exposed. And if you did not know, Magic Johnson allegedly is one of the worst ones on the Diddy tapes. The original power bottom, the Andada, who contracted the AIDS virus when AIDS was a gay disease. And he's best friends with Puffy. And so to clean up his image, because his name, image, and likeness makes millions upon millions of dollars, the slave handlers, okay, because that's their big buck slave. He got out there on the campaign trail, got his black card revoked, talking to black men, talking about support the bed wenching concubine. And that bed wenching concubine that I'm talking about is Kamala Harris. Ain't no slaves going to be voting for no bed wenching concubines. If you guys are documenting us as slaves, we're going to act like slaves, and we're going to reject what you're doing, because like I said, Proposition 6, we got to get that to pass. So vote yes on 6, because yes on 6 ends slavery in the state of California. Let me see here. Who gives you the right to decide what a woman has to do with her body? I don't have a right, but in the sense of that question, or responding to the comment by Mr. James, well, nobody gives us a right, but there has to be some type of guardrails. You can't, women can't and should not use abortion as a form of contraceptive. I was actually in the grocery store and I'm talking to James on the comment, and he said, "Who gives you the right to decide what a woman has to do with her body?" That's a great talking point that the Democrats say, but it doesn't give us a right, but it's just a moral situation. So I'm gonna give you a little story, James. I was in the grocery store a few days ago, and it was a female. She was showing. Okay. And I asked her, I said, "Okay, how many months are you?" She said, 6. And I looked and I said, 6. Wow, you're showing at 6 months. I said, "Do you know what you're having?" She said, "Yeah, I just found out, that I'm having a boy. And this is why I'm in the grocery shop. You see all this blue, we're going to do a gender reveal. My husband wants son." And I'm saying 6 months. And then we started talking about politics. And she said, "Who are you voting for?" I said, "Well, I'm glad you asked, and I'm going to be writing in a third party, but do Proposition 6. And I told her about the Proposition 6, which is slavery in California. She was like, "Okay, I haven't got my ballot book yet, but I will be voting yes on 6. And then I said, "Who are you voting for?" And she was like, "Ah." I was like, "What do you mean? We're in the hood. Okay, we're in South Los Angeles. We're ultra democratic here. California's a deep blue state." And she said, "My husband and I are leaning towards the Republicans this year." "No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, it's a lot of us that's not voting Democratic, but we don't want to be hypocritical and just flip to the Republican side. We can actually, hurt the Democrats and help the Republicans by making a point, by protesting the Democratic Party and writing in the third party, which is Jesus Christ." And then she asked me, she said, "So you could do that?" I said, "Absolutely." So I went on my phone and I showed her a sample ballot, and we read off the campaigns. Donald Trump's at the top in our area. Donald Trump. We had the Libertarian Party, the Democrats, the Peace and Freedom Party, the Green Party, the American Independent Party. Then under the American Independent Party, there's a box that says "Write In." And she said, "Well, okay, I'm gonna tell my husband we could do that." And I said, "So why are you kind of on the fence?" She said, "Well, the Democrats," and I'm talking to James, and this is my point of bringing that kind of up. She said the Democrats' abortion is too far because 6 months right now. And she said, when my husband and I were watching the debate with Harris and Trump says, "So what is it, Kamala? Is it months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months?" She said she paused to see her reaction, and she said out of her mouth that Harris said, "Come on." Like, "Come on." And she was like, "What does that mean?" So she basically said she did the research and she did look up the case in Virginia. The baby was aborted and had a heartbeat and pretty much was left on the table to allow the heart to beat out. Okay. So when it comes to, controlling and telling the woman what to do with her body, I said, "So you're 6 months right now. So how do you feel about women who abort their children after 6 months?" She was like, my husband and I, we read, to my baby. I'm about to reveal the gender at the gender party. He didn't want to know we're having a boy and I got 2 daughters and all of this. And she said, from a Democratic perspective, I could still abort this child. And I said, "Yeah." So it's not the fact, James, that, we decide what a woman does with her body, but there should be some type of mandates and some type of guardrails in the sense of a first trimester, second trimester, and more importantly, it cannot be a third trimester, because if you're aborting babies after, the heartbeat, living soul, that's a human being. So this is why we're not saying, we're telling a woman what to do. And that's a Democratic talking point. But any sane individual or woman who has some type of moral value shouldn't tell her what to decide to do with her body. But we want her to be motivated and encouraged to make a decision to use contraceptive, to make a decision to protect herself, to make a decision that if she does not want to have a baby, then the first step to protecting herself is not to get pregnant. But you got some women out there who are prostituting and who are whores, and women who have babies, okay, who get pregnant and just go ahead and just get an abortion and snatch it out. That's immoral and that shouldn't be. So it's not us saying that we have the right to decide what she does with her body. We're trying to help her have some type of moral compass. And this is why we're offering Jesus Christ as a write-in, so she could be accountable for her body and not allow guys to have sex with her and multiple guys to put cum in her and multiple guys to, have sex with her and to be a nasty whore or harlot. So we're not saying that we're trying to control her to what she's going to do with her body. but we're trying to get her to raise her moral values. And instead of using abortion as a form of contraceptive, is to pretty much protect herself and not get pregnant in the first place. So hopefully that answered James' question, because there's never two sides. You know, the Democrats have those talking points, but nobody ever responds. So that's my response to that. And that is a great question, because we don't have the right to tell her what to do. But I'm going to say, as a father of a daughter, to basically protect yourself, don't get pregnant. And if you do get pregnant, if it's by accident, okay, handle it, right out the gate, take the morning after pill, do something about it, but don't be sitting back, 6 months, have a baby shower, get mad at your boyfriend, and then go kill the baby, because that's a blood beating human being in the fetus of the mother. So who will win the 2024? So based off, and that's Peter. So based off the statistics, it's going to be a bloodbath. Trump is going to blow her out. Okay. And the black men are not voting for her because we're still slaves, according to the Democratic Party. So black men will not be voting for the bedwench concubine who is promoting our original oppressor, which is the Democratic Party. It's going to be a bloodbath, and the economy, immigration, and inflation is resonating across the country. And this is the number one thing. And pretty much people, you love him or hate him, this is why they're trying to kill him. They trust Trump with the economy, and they trust Trump with the southern border, because he didn't build the wall. He built 2 feet of the wall, but at least he wants to protect our southern border. In the Democratic Party, based on the scene on the 60 Minutes interview, pretty much was a, and migrants have came in quadruple at a rate of quadruple from the previous administration, and the Biden and Harris administration is in charge of that. And if you're riding in the passenger seat for 4 years, we don't expect you to get in the driver's seat and bustle you. You're just going to keep on driving this car in the wrong direction. Metaphorically, it's going to fly off of a hill. Okay, now you're treating that person that brings the brats into this world and let your go on like they're nothing. James, I think you really don't understand. It's not flesh and blood. It's powers, principalities, evildoers in high places. So I really personally, okay, I'm not looking to have any children. I'm looking to get anybody pregnant. I'm a man. And if I do, fornicate or whatever, I will protect myself and I won't get them pregnant. Okay, this is what it is. I'm not married. I'm praying for a wife, but that's just what it is right now. So it's not a personal issue. It's not an issue at all. Because at the end of the day, if we had responsible women that's protecting themselves, have the situation, but you got to understand the root causes. And the root cause is that Planned Parenthood was created by Margaret Sanger, who's basically documented as Black genocide. And she was from the Eugenics Society, and its original form is population control, because she got all of the funding when Dr. King and the Negro leaders went into the White House and got everything that they wanted, plus the kitchen sink. He brought in Margaret Sanger, because Margaret Sanger, talking to Lyndon B. Johnson, has said that Negroes is having babies in the form of 6-2 when it comes to whites, and we don't want that problem. So the original ideal for Planned Parenthood is to kill Black babies. So James, I hope you really understand that. And at the end of the day, I'm not complaining about anything, because God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. So what we're doing, we're sharing knowledge to communicate and to understand, to know what's going on, because we need to come together, because there needs to be just one race, and that's the human race. Okay. And there will not be a human race until we end slavery in the United States. So James, I think you said you're from California. So we're at least asking you, so we could stand in solidarity as men, vote yes on Proposition 6, because Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. And it aligns with the national effort to reform the 13th Amendment. And my organization, the Better Black America, is the catalyst that's seeking the constitutional amendment. And they are listening and paying. So we're going to figure this thing out. So we don't have the right to control women. We don't have the right to do anything. Each and every individual have their own morals, but at least we want to communicate with these women and basically have them, protect themselves, and don't use aborting babies as a form of contraceptive. Just go ahead and protect yourself, and just try not to get pregnant. And that will be the only thing. And I'm gonna get one more with James. James is lighting me up today. I appreciate you. Do you really think that he's going to stop their bye-bye, I tell you now, like I told the others ones, goodbye, see you later, cuz you gone next. Okay. He said he was going bye-bye, but he's still right there. He's in the comments. So James is probably either a beta male or homosexual. No disrespect. And because, like I said, alpha males threaten a lot of people, and men of God threatens and irritates the demons in others. So when individuals come after you, you're doing something to them spiritually, because if they're not connected to the Most High, they don't seek understanding, they don't seek knowledge, they don't seek wisdom. They just hear what you're saying, and then they hear some type of red flag, and they just want to sit back and just comment, and that is what it is. It's not all about black. Does it have to be all about black? And that's SSC 0007C. Okay, the reason it's all about black. Okay, number one, you're on the Better Black America TV here, and black is an acronym that I created, was Black, Latin, Asian, Caucasian, kinsman, kinship, meaning we're all. And America was built on free labor by transatlantic slaves who are documented in America as blacks and African Americans. Okay, now in 24, and I'm talking to SSC Charlie 007 Charlie. Proposition 6, and I'm reading this off my ballot. The reason it's all about, because it's always been about black. Always. Okay. Proposition 6 ends slavery in California. So who's documented in America as slaves? SSC 007 Charlie. I'm waiting, and that's blacks. So if slavery is on the ballot in the state of California, and we know slavery is connected to the black race, then it's our moment right now. Okay. Because if this was 1964, okay, there will be women's live protest. Okay. So it wasn't all about blacks then, but the civil rights movement was predicated on all the other movements that were created. So the women's live movement. Okay, remember the hippie. Okay, remember the LGBTQ. Everybody's protesting gay rights and all the things. It was all about everybody else. Everybody else had their moment in time, but it all was spawned of the civil rights movement, segregation in the South, which was against blacks, against colors, against police brutality, and all of that. So it should be over right now. But if you about it, in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was signed, and we just celebrated and commemorated 60 years of Pride, which is the LGBTQ LMNOP community. We just celebrated 60 years of women empowerment, includes white women as a whole, women's rights. Okay, think about it. So what happened to the black race? Okay, and at that time, they pretty much doubled down on mass incarceration, doubled down on the welfare state, and pretty much turned us from being a race of black Americans, turned us to an ethnicity, and pretty much walked away. The reason that it's all about black is because it's time to champion the race right now, because we will end racism if we do so. If we continue on this wrong path, we're going to continue in a terrible world, because God is not happy with what's going on. We are all God's children, and there's a group of people in this country that are still documented in the Constitution as slaves. And I'm going to do some facts. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1965 by Abraham Lincoln. In 1966, they signed a Vagrant Act of 1866. And a Vagrant Act was the act to round up newly freed slaves and prosecute them criminally for being vagrants. A vagrant is an individual that's unemployed, that's homeless, and don't know where to go, don't have anywhere to go. So if you were charged with a vagrancy crime, you were pretty much, a ball and chain was put on your ankle, and you was forced to do involuntary servitude. And this was in 1866. And I'm going to tell you right now, okay, SSC 007 Charlie, right now, that law is still on the books. and California was dealing with reparations and created a reparations coalition. But Gavin Newsom worked with my organization and could not sign the bill. He was going to veto it because still documented as slaves in this country. And the Vagrant Act 1966 is still on the ballot. It's still in the books as well. So this is why in 2024, it has to be all about black, because we have to champion the black race, because we can move on and then America could be who she was supposed to be. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is why one nation under God, we're writing in our God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as president. Okay. And then we're voting yes on Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. And it aligns with the national effort, which A Better Black America is spearheading. You could go to abetterblackамerica.com to reform the 13th Amendment. So the thing is, we have some unfinished business on the books. Okay. We have some unfinished business on the books. And according to the Constitution, slavery never ended. And this is why this year we have to make it about black, so we can be free and liberated, and we could be one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all. So now you see why they use individuals like P. Diddy and Magic Johnson, Will Smith, and all these black male homosexuals, because there's no such a thing as bisexual. Okay, if a man is attracted to a man and sleeps with a man, no matter if he got a wife and 30 kids, that's by definition, he's a homosexual. So you can see why they chose these to play the game, to give us the illusion of being successful. And you can see why they, wanted us to go against Kanye West. They wanted us to go against Cat Williams, which would be called whistleblowers. So Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, decided to be a whistleblower as well, and put Prop 6 and work with the Assembly member Lori Wilson, and organizations such as A Better Black America to really understand what we need to do. And this is what's happening today. Because when you're dealing with heterosexual men, okay, a heterosexual man, we are typically led by a moral compass, and our moral compass is God. There are some certain things that we won't do regardless of how much money they offer. But some people sell their souls to the devil, and the devil pretty much controls that and manipulates, and have people thinking that, oh, the black race got it going on. They got people in the NBA, they got CEOs and all this. But at the end of the day, who's pretty much running the show? So if we're still documented as slaves in the United States, then that's something that we got to take care of. So this is why it has to be unapologetically black right now. And if you go on record, Sean P. Diddy Combs is on record saying this, but he's their slave. Okay, he's their cash cow. He's their moneymaker. He's the one that they're being used on his name, image, and likeness to create, from a brand perspective, to create millions of dollars. So this is why if they make you, they could break you. Okay, see, I'm a child of God. They didn't make me, so they can't break me. So I'm free and liberated to say the things that I've been saying my entire life, especially in the last 6, 7, 8 years. And you can actually hit that like, hit that notification, and subscribe to my channel, and actually see some of the documents and some of the conversations and the content that I've been putting up. And I've been on record seeking a constitutional amendment, because when I speak at these committees, I have to remind them, but we're documented as on the Constitution, and they're not going to pay the slaves. So this is why this election, we're going to make a covert effort and a grand decision to write in our God as our signature and vote yes on Prop 6. So if we end, then we can have a conversation. And if the Democrats want us back in 2024, then you're going to have to reconcile because Gavin Newsom did a public apology, which is an atonement. We got Proposition 6 right here on the books, which ends slavery in California. And then after that comes reconciliation, and that comes with compensation. So hope that I got you to understand what's going on, because it's all about black right now. We've supported any and everything. We supported Obama. We voted for all the laws to pass, all the LGBTQ rights, because love is love. Okay, respectfully. We supported, we support the women's, we support abortion. We even support and put in bills, the crime bills. We supported everything but ourselves, not knowing that it was a play to pretty much destroy. So now we got to change the trajectory and what's going on and start weaning ourselves out of poverty, weaning ourselves off of the killing, the gang banging, and get rid of these ghettos so we can have domestic tranquility. Because I'm a constitutionalist, and there's a part of that Constitution says that we're supposed to be living tranquility here in America, and that'll never happen with your ghettos and gang banging and the private prison organizations and federal prisons, modern day slavery, prisons trading on Wall Street, prisoners making $140,000 per inmate that goes to the state for a prisoner, but LA Unified School District only get between $13,000 and $14,000 to educate. So we got to flip the script, because slavery has been on the books and it's been very profitable, and it's being ran, through our record labels, through the music, creating this low vibration. And this is why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. Let me see. October 8th was a genocide. October 7th was not a genocide. It was the largest mass killing since the Holocaust, because what's going on right now and what's been going on over a past physical year from Israel is genocide of Palestinian, of people of color in Gaza, the whole nine. Now that's the genocide. Okay, there was a issue and an incident that took place that was not right. Okay, but in terms of the response and the reaction, it's kind of like, you pretty much slap somebody and then they blow you up. Okay, and I'm speaking metaphorically, because the incident that happened on October 7th, it cannot justify the incidents that's happening right now. Because if you want to line up October 7th as a genocide, then that's just one day. Okay, so now since Israel's doing what it's doing, it's genocide in the Palestinian, in Lebanon, and what's going on right now every single day. So it's literally no comparison, but that was pretty much the spark that pretty much in the motivation to pretty much run a population control move in a mass genocide situation and create global conflict. And the Biden-Harris administration is burning the candle from both ends. They gave the funds to Iran, they weapons up in Afghanistan, and then they turn around and give billions of dollars to Israel to defend itself. And then we, the American military, is shooting down missiles to protect Israel. So it is what it is. Let me see here. Let me keep on going. James had it lit up, man. I like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. But James would be another person that I would actually go back, because he had a lot to say. I got a Trump 2024. Who y'all voting for? Okay, let me see here. Trump 2024. Preach. Okay, let me see. How many slaves do you know? And that's Tracy Duncan. I know. Let me see here. You looking at one, Tracy? Tracy Duncan. You looking at one? I'm in the state of California, Tracy Duncan, and in the state of California, Proposition 6, and I'm this right out the book. Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. So slavery didn't end. So you're looking at one. So like I said, we're comfortable, but we're still slaves. Let's be honest. So this is why the slaves are not voting for the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is a party of slavery. We're not supporting it. And they're putting up Kamala Harris as the bedwench concubine. Because if we were free, and we were free to pick and choose and select a president that resonates with our spirit, then we wouldn't have these two individuals on the ballot. Think about that. America should not be divided. America be together. So Tracy went on and Duncan, she don't really understand. And if you are black, I hope you are, that you can understand, but you're looking at it, because according to the state of California, I'm a slave. I'm a slave. Because Proposition 6, so vote yes on Prop 6. Proposition 6 ends slavery in California. And if you're not in California, it aligns with the national effort to reform the 13th Amendment. See, listen, God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. So the knowledge of it is the 13th Amendment. We had the Bill of Rights, which was just 10. So they added 12. And then the 13th Amendment is when slavery, and the word slavery actually came into play. But it says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, period. But after Lincoln was assassinated, the assassin's bullet, and the assassin's bullet pretty much changed the trajectory of history. So by default, Andrew Johnson became president, which was a Southern Dixiecratic Confederate, okay, who pretty much put in the criminalization clause. So it reads neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, comma, unless criminalized. And the criminalization clause was added, which is a slavery clause. And then the year following, in 1866, they passed a bill called the 1866 vagrancy law, meaning the newly freed, the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of newly freed slaves were being charged with vagrancy crimes because they had nowhere to go. They were put in prisons with a ball and chain on their ankle and forced to do involuntary servitude. And that's how the South was built, on free labor. And if you ran, and didn't just come in there willingly, you pretty much was a runaway slave. And it's where they get the black codes. This is where, the slave handlers and the sheriffs and all of that stuff, because they would take you back to the South, get paid, and put you in bondage and put you back into slavery. So we're dealing with, individuals such as so. And then you had the other slaves who willingly, and this is why a lot of people don't even realize that they're slaves, like an employee at work, who willingly did what they were supposed to do. And that was pretty much what the sharecroppers did. Yes, a boss stayed on the plantation and picked master's cotton, picked his tobacco, picked, his rice and potatoes, and did all the things that he was supposed to do, but did not get compensated for it. So basically that's a question from Tracy Duncan. How many slaves do you know? I know a whole bunch of them. You're looking at one, my whole family, my whole church, because it's a black church. Everybody that I see, according to California state legislator, because Gavin Newsom apologized for slavery, and we have Proposition 6 on the ballot, which ends slavery in California and aligns with the national efforts to amend the 13th Amendment. So basically, according to our documentation, we are still slaves. And this is why they fight for our vote, because they want to control the slaves. But this time around, there is a slavery vote, because they got the big coon slaves like Magic Johnson out there promoting the bed wench and concubine Kamala Harris. We're going to be writing in Jesus Christ, and it's going to be a slave revolt. So the slaves will be revolting this time around, Miss Tracy Duncan. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me see here. We've always left weapons behind. Okay, that's a comment, but not like this. We never left like that, because like I said, Mr. James, did you see how we left Afghanistan? It was so bad. People was trying to ride the airplane on the outside. That have to be so bad. That have to be so bad. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Let me see here. And I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to just, read between the lines, because some people are making it, personal and all of that. So I'm just reading through. Let me see here. Bruh, quit asking for handouts. Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Bruh, I'm not asking for no handout. Bruh, I'm trying to be free. Bruh, according to Proposition 6, which ends slavery in California and upholds dignity for everyone, I'm trying to be free. I'm not asking for anything. I'm trying to be free, and I'm tired of my people being used and abused to promote an agenda that's genocidal to us. And I'm so tired of my people not even being able to establish themselves. Why is it that Black Americans here don't have embassy? I'll wait. Okay. Why is it here in America that Black individuals that's rich only can, play ball or, step and fetch or coon, be an actor and think about that. So nobody's asking for handouts. These are situations that clearly, from an ignorant perspective, you're in a place of ignorance because you don't know what's really going on, because somebody has to be somebody has to be in position to do something that's going to create change. Every can't be lost. And I'm talking to Stephen A. Smith. Okay. And, Goodwin, Stephen A. Okay. So I'm saying is based on Proposition 6, which ends slavery in California and uphold human rights, dignity for everyone. So we're not asking for handouts. We're asking for freedom. And then freedom comes with a cost. So if you look at other race, creed, or culture, generational wealth is passed down through generations. And our wealth has been held up for over 160 years. Because from an educational perspective, Stephen A., Abraham Lincoln put away $8 million and called it the Freedmen's Bank Bureau. So post-slavery, there was supposed to be monies distributed to help the newly freed slave, just like money was given to the Holocaust survivors. Money was given to Japan, because of the World War II with the atom bombs. Reparations was given to the Native Americans. Jewish people got reparations. So we got to understand, we just want to liberate it and free in this nation and respect it just like every other race, creed, or culture. But the fact remains that this is our moment because they've been holding off and putting it to the side all of this time, expected it just to go away. But somehow, some way, God saw fit to put the wench and concubine on the ballot in the term of Kamala Harris. So now we can actually back and find out, where did we go wrong? How did the ghettos come into play? So I'm going to actually give you some literature to Stephen A. from Bro Quit Asking for Handouts. Look up the Kerner report, KENER report. And this is what was documented in the 60s. And they came back with a report. Congress came back with a report and basically said that the ghettos and the barrios and, the condition in the black community was created to promote white supremacy and to create a ecosystem to where blacks are less than. So think about that. So we're talking about generation. We're talking about slavery. Okay, so nobody's asking for a handout. I'm sitting here talking to you right now. My coffee done got cold, but I'm sitting here, smiling. I'm good. But in a sense of somebody got out for God's people. Somebody got to be at the driver's seat. So just imagine from a metaphor perspective, if we're on a cruise line, in the wintertime, and you out there partying, doing your thing, Stephen A., there's an iceberg out there. Somebody got to turn the wheel and make sure that we don't crash. So somebody got to be at the wheel. So instead of being ignorant and saying, bro, quit asking for handouts, why don't you just basically pray for people like me? Because like I say, we didn't ask to do this job. This job is pretty much chose us. So when you get the knowledge and you get the understanding, there's some accountability. And when you're willing to write in Jesus Christ as your president, that means you got to have a moral component. And that means that you have to be ambassador for a higher power and expose the truth and shame the devil, because this is what it is. So I'm asking you to pray for me, brother, Stephen A. Smith. We're not asking for handouts. We're asking for our just due, because if you heard anything that Dr. Luther King was talking about, he was under the impression that we was going to get the same deal that the Jews from the Holocaust did, the reparations money these and Japanese got. OK, and somehow, some way he was assassinated. But if you really think about it, he told and talked about the promissory note that America has defaulted on, because America do not want to do what it's supposed to, because there were some promises made in the form of a promissory note over 160 years ago. And it is our blood-born right, and it is our inheritance. So let me see here, Stephen A. Bro, quit asking for handouts. Just say, for instance, if you was and your grandfather was one of the richest men in the world. OK, Stephen A. Smith, just say if your grandfather was one of the richest men in the world. OK, that is your biological grandfather. You love him, a father's father. And then when he passes, just like we're at an expiration date, all of his wealth went to some people that you don't even know, and you didn't get a red cent. And that is your biological grandfather. So you telling me that you wouldn't sue or somehow say this is my inheritance because my grandfather has earmarked some money for me to pass down generational wealth, because this is my blood. This is my father. I got the same last name. I got the name that's supposed to continue with his legacy. So you mean to tell me that, so what I'm saying is, if you are saying that, I'm not going to ask for handouts, that's fine. And you got to understand where I'm coming from. You got to understand that somebody, that's willing to put their life on the line to do what's right for all people. OK, not just for black people, for all people, because if black community is championed by blacks, If we end poverty, not a war on poverty, if we end the drugs, not war on drugs, if we end the killing, in the gang banging and all that, not warring on it, how some way it will resonate in society and this world would be a better place. Because when I look at that Lord's Prayer, it says on earth as it is in heaven. So how can we have harmony here in America on earth as it is in heaven, between a scribe and a Pharisee, which is no different than a Republican and a Democrat? So that's why if we was in heaven, if we want on earth as it is in heaven, then we're going to have to submit to the Creator, and that's God, and he's the Father of everything, Kings, Lord of Lords, and all paths of religion leads to that higher power. And when you get to that, to that higher power, it changes your life. Okay, because as a man, I'm not looking for handout. I'm looking for liberation. And in these days and times that we're living in, to finally end slavery in America, because voting yes on Prop 6 ends slavery in California. And I'm sure you had no clue about that. I'm sure. Hopefully, man, you hit that subscription, you subscribe, hit the like, and we can continue to have conversations because, like I said, knowledge is power. So we don't, I just don't be talking about the content. I don't, just be shooting it, but there's a method to the madness because I want you guys to really understand. So I call it edutainment. So we're going to keep it pushing. Let me see here. I personally like to snowball. Let me see here. Like I said, these comments have got out of control. Here comes a conspiracy. Well, a lot of times the conspiracies come because a conspiracy is nothing but a theory. And then if you do the conspiracy and you keep on going, and then it turns into a theory, and then the theory starts thinking, then it becomes a theorem, which is reality. Okay, let me see here. But like I said, these comments are out of control. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. It's too many to read. But man, like I said, and based on Magic Johnson losing his black card, I'm about to close and get up out here. Based on Magic Johnson, but I'm going to go all the way to the end. So if somebody just tuned in and got a comment, I will probably try to catch you. Conspiracies are, are realist. And I like that point fire. Kamala Harris, Colin Powell, the second Secretary of Defense. Let me see here. John James, I think only way to come to harmony is if the blacks get reparations. It's not even about reparations. Just say if we never got reparations. You can laugh all you want, but just say if we never got reparations. I just want freedom. So even if we don't get reparations, I will be voting yes on Prop 6 to end slavery in California, which will pretty much help society as a whole. So it's not really all about that, but all the naysayers that's sitting back, that's laughing my A off, you just really don't know. Okay. Because like I said, Gavin Newsom apologized. Okay. That's what we call an atonement. We got position 6 right here in which we can actually vote yes and end slavery. Okay. And then when it comes to a reconciliation, it is what it is. And if it comes with cash payouts, I'm sure if you are black, you would take the bread. But my organization, A Better Black America, is Black, Latin, Asian, Caucasian kinship. And we want to spread the wealth. We don't just want to give money just for blacks, because if they can give an earmark, the Department of Homeland Security can earmark $380 million and distribute it to major cities that's willing to embrace the migrant population and house the migrants. There's only approximately 350 million Americans. So from a math perspective, that was enough to put $1 million in every American's bank account. And if we were to do something like that, we can basically put zero tolerance on crime. We can pretty much zero tolerance on ignorance, and we can, end the IRS. We can end, when I say the IRS, meaning put it in consumption, because call themselves a, what's the term? An enforcement agency, just like the child support system. They call themselves agencies. So we can actually pay America's bills. So listen, the reparations are just a part of it, but the apology has been put in, and Proposition 6 ends slavery in California and upholds human rights and dignity for everyone. So we got to get this bill passed. And after we do that, then we can have a conversation. So it is what it is. And you guys are having fun in the comments. And It is what it is. And I appreciate y'all. And hit that like, hit that notification, hit that subscription, because we going up, and I will be dropping some edited videos. So hit the notification so you can actually see those uploaded videos. And we're going to continue to do what we need to do, because God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. Magic Johnson lost his black card, and Kamala Harris campaign is spiraling out of control, and she was gone in 60 seconds on 60 Minutes. With that being said, have a great day. Peace out.